So I got in some Twitter drama, and it really frustrated me. And historically speaking, when I get frustrated by Twitter drama, I don't express myself in a very rhetorically effective way. That's how the Thought Slime drama stream thing took place. We're gonna not repeat that. So if over the course of this small segment, okay, I come off as like weirdly stilted, or it seems like I'm being like, detached or really unempathetic. It's really just me trying to avoid slipping up and making the same mistakes that I used to, okay? So I'm going to be talking about something slightly contentious. I know a few people, maybe they've got like their own like socialist daddies, their bread tube, love interests that I might criticize slightly, perhaps. But I ask you this, okay? I ask you this. Just stick with me, okay? And because this is going to be a video, inevitably, if you criticize me in the comment section, I ask only this, just so I know you've at least watched the video and didn't just see the title and started getting mad at me, okay? If you're going to criticize me in the comment section, add a little winky face in there somewhere. It has to be in the comment, okay? It has to. I'm polling this video afterwards. I'm gonna add up all the comments that are critical of me, and I'm gonna see which ones have the winky face and which ones don't, okay? That's a semicolon and then a close parenthesis, okay? You need to put that in there. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you didn't watch it, you just got triggered by the title, okay? So, with that being said, there's something that Kyle Kulinski has done over the past few months that really frustrates me. It's not the Bernie or bust thing. In fact, I'm not actually going to be talking about the efficacy of Bernie or bust here, or at least not very much. But there is a specific thing that Kyle Kulinski does that bugs me, and what it is he doesn't seem to take responsibility for the outcomes of his behavior as a public figure. I've seen many tweets from him where he says, I'm not advocating for Bernie or bust, I'm just not going to vote for Biden. To which the obvious answer is, Kyle, you're a huge public figure. You're massive. Hundreds of thousands of people get their news from you. And if you say, you're not voting for Biden for your reasons, and you post a bunch of tweets where you criticize the DNC and Democrats and Biden constantly, and you never say, hey guys, vote for Biden. I'm not voting for Biden. You can vote for who you want. We kind of know what that means, don't we? You're not on paper Bernie or bust, but the actual rhetorical, practical outcome of your advocacy is Bernie or bust. And we know this because I've spent a year and a half in a hyperbolic time chamber where I experienced the arguments of fascists and Nazis at 10 times the rate a normal human can withstand. And you know what the conclusions I have arrived to are? That cowardly people like to signal a conclusion without specifically stating it, okay? Go to Paul Joseph Watson's Twitter, all right? Paul Joseph Watson will nonstop post video clips of black people acting poorly in public. Of course, we all know that everybody, every race acts poorly in public from time to time, but he really likes posting the black ones. And he'll just say something like, oh, imagine my shock, multiculturalism working again, or wow, I thought diversity was our strength, not our right uppercut, or something to that effect, you know? And then, of course, the comment sections, the thousands of people will be posting 1350, blacks have inferior skulls, white ethnostate now, blah, 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 blah. And if you ask PJW, hey, do you think black people are inferior to white people? You know what he would tell me? He would tell me no. With a smile on his face. With that being said, this is something that Sean, of Sean and Jen, tweeted recently. A whole lot of Americans are mad at me, a British person, for not supporting Joe Biden enthusiastically enough. Maybe I don't get how it works there, being British and all, but I might recommend you spend your time trying to convince people who can maybe actually vote. I feel like my position on the election is not all that complicated. Don't vote for Trump. I couldn't support Biden. But you should vote for him if you feel you must. Vote regardless, since there's other races at stake. And if the enthusiastic support of a middlingly successful British YouTuber is what is going to swing this election, Biden fans have larger problems to be concerned with. I thought the idea was Biden appealed to moderate Republicans. What are you all doing on Twitter bugging leftists? Foreign leftists at that. Get thee to wherever the Republicans hang out and bug them instead. So there are a few problems with this, and I'm going to outline them in the least emotional way possible. These series of tweets followed from people criticizing Sean for essentially advocating a Bernie or bust position. If you've been following Sean's Twitter for the past few months, you can see pretty clearly that he's been posting Bernie or bust. Now, he's never outright said, don't vote for Biden, but he has pretty consistently expressed the same sentiment that one would express or expect from a person who is Bernie or bust. Now, in this series of tweets, there are a number of deflections that really bother me, and this is going to be the theme. Thank you. This is going to be the theme of this conversation. Intellectual honesty. Maybe it's my autism. I'm not joking when I say that, but intellectual dishonesty really upsets me on a deep emotional level. I'm okay with disagreeing with people. I have friends who I disagree with. Close friends. I disagree with essential stuff with my girlfriend, and she's my girlfriend. But intellectual dishonesty, the inability or the unwillingness to honestly consider, respond to, regard an argument, really upsets me. And a lot of that, if I may, is because it is my job to argue with conservatives. Most conservatives are dishonest because conservatism is a trash ideology supported only by losers and bigots. And with that being said, there are some techniques they employ really frequently. I don't like seeing those techniques, but at the very least, when I see them, I like seeing them coming from people I know I can destroy. I don't like seeing them from people who I consider my political allies. So, knowing the fact that Sean is responding to criticisms that he is dissuading people from voting for Biden, here are a number of pivots that he engages in. Don't worry, Comrade Yamada, I want to be perfectly clear. I'm not saying you cannot criticize Biden, and I'm going to get to that. That is relevant to this. First of all, Sean pivots by saying that he is a British person, therefore it is silly to try to change his opinion on this election. This is obviously a very stupid statement. Sean is a massive public figure. Sean has, 7 times my Twitter followers, or 6 possibly. Sean reaches millions of people. So to say, why do you care about what I think? I'm British, is not only wrong, which again isn't the issue here, it's blatantly dishonest. 1/3 of a million subscribers on YouTube. It doesn't matter if he's British at all. His opinions matter, because he convinces people, many of whom are in the States. Secondly, we have this tweet. I feel like my position on the election is not all that complicated. Don't vote for Trump. So he gives a moral imperative here. Don't vote for Trump. I couldn't support Biden, but you should vote for him if you feel you must. Now, here's the issue here. Hypothetically, if we were to believe Sean believes people should vote for Biden, this is not how you do this, because the statement, vote for him if you feel you must, is meaningless. He's willing to invoke a moral imperative for not voting for Trump, but not invoke a moral imperative for voting for Biden. This language is very clear. Don't vote for Trump, but vote for Biden? That's a Bernie or bust statement. And then he does the first meme again. If the enthusiastic support of a middlingly successful British YouTuber is what's going to swing the election. Yeah, exactly. Like, again, it's that this is, for one, nobody is making the argument that his support is going to swing the election. And nobody is making the argument that his Britishness is relevant here. And additionally, I don't know why we're being, like, Biden fans. The criticism was coming from the left. This isn't really Biden fans, but this is kind of like dismissive language you could use to alienate and otherize the people who are criticizing you. And then he's like, oh, what are you doing? Waste your time with me. Go talk to some Republicans. Silly, not the person with 300,000 YouTube subscribers who is ostensibly supposed to be supporting people voting for Biden, but then doesn't. I know what you're thinking. Does Sean believe that people should vote for Biden? After all, I'm here to criticize his honesty, not his position on Bernie or bust. Well, things develop. An anonymous Twitter user steps in. Stop lying about your position, Sean. People aren't mad that you, a British person, isn't supporting Biden. They're mad because you, an influential YouTuber on the left, are advocating for not voting for him at all. If you have a position, own it. Don't be a weasel. See, I agree with this. And this is the thing that bothers me the most. Really think about this for a second. As progressive political YouTubers, it's the job of people like Sean and myself to make prescriptive statements. That is our job. Don't be racist. It's bad to do this. Don't do cultural appropriation in this respect. Don't do that. Don't be sexist here. That's our job. That our job is literally to give. That's a weird way to look at it. No, that is my job. This is my job. I want to give arguments that you people should live in a certain way. That is what I do, yeah. And I try to give you guys arguments, if you agree with me, to help you convince other people. I get emails every single day from people who are looking for advice to convince their friends, to convince their family members. We are looking to make prescriptive statements to others. So it's strange to me that Sean seems unwilling to do this. Now, right now, Sean says, I'm not advocating for that. So he's not advocating for people to not vote for Biden. And then this anonymous Twitter user, excuse me, links a bunch of tweets. Now, this is not all of the tweets that we could go over, okay? Now, everyone, please stick with me. I understand, like, there's a lot of room for ambiguity right here, and I promise I'm going to tie this back into a knot, okay? There are a number of tweets here, and if we look at them, like, for example, listen to this, okay? I won't tell anyone whether or not to vote for Biden in the general, but I will say that I would not vote for the Labour Party in the UK until Corbyn took the leadership, largely because of the support for the Iraq War, which Biden also supported, so, you know. So essentially, I won't tell you not to vote for Biden, but I wouldn't vote for Biden for moral reasons. Not because he's British, he wouldn't vote for Biden for moral reasons. If you want to find this tweet yourself and go look through the comments, it's full of Bernie or busters. All of Sean's tweets are full of Bernie or busters. Many of these tweets are just criticizing Biden, which is fine. Like, for example, this tweet right here. The Biden sexual assault allegation is showing us who are the real progressives and who are just using progressivism as another tool in the arbitrary us versus them, red versus blue sports games they think politics is. That's true. I completely agree with this tweet, by the way. I completely agree with this tweet. But, and this is really, really important, as public figures, we have to consider the fact that people are going to be led in different directions depending on the rhetoric we engage in on our public platforms, even if we don't directly advocate for something. If you all want to, feel free to look through Sean's tweets over the past 2 months. You are going to find literally dozens of them that are either openly advocating that he won't vote for Biden and other people, maybe if they really want to, can, but oh my God, he's so bad, or tweets relentlessly criticizing Biden. Far more tweets criticizing Biden and the DNC, in fact, that you will find criticizing the Republican Party and Trump. Now, does that mean you can't criticize Biden? Of course not. This is what I'm going to say to that particular criticism, because I think it's very important I address it, all right? I criticize Biden all the time. In fact, I'm going to do it now. Joe Biden is a relentlessly racist, senile, degenerative, brain rot candidate who is literally too intellectually incompetent to avoid gaffing on camera every single fucking time he steps in front of the lens. He is almost certainly a serial sexual abuser, a disgusting human being, and he is evident of the absolute worst rot the DNC has to offer. The fact that I am going to be voting for him, the fact that I am being put in a position where voting for him is the right thing to do compared to the alternative, fills me with with moral disgust, and I will never forget it for the rest of my life. The rest of my life is going to be a Kill Bill-esque fucking revenge hate train against the DNC for ever forcing the indignity of having to vote for Biden upon me. And you know what? It's still important that I vote for him. I'm still riding with Biden because the alternative is Trump, and Trump is worse. My vote is not an expression of my personal endorsement or my personal feelings. It is my tiny, tiny, tiny little effort at making the world better. And right now, putting that towards Biden is better than putting it towards Trump. See there? You can criticize Biden, relentlessly, and then vote for him. So I don't want to hear any more. You're saying you can't criticize Biden because I don't believe that to be the case. But if all you do is criticize Biden and then flip-flop when it comes to whether or not people should maybe vote for him, and like, I won't vote for him, you can do it if you really want to, I guess, that's Bernie or bust. But Sean is denying that he has a Bernie or bust position. This anonymous Twitter user posts all these links. Man, what happened to you? Yeah, I'm not advocating for that in any of those. One is about 1%er opinions on the election, explicitly says it's not my opinion. One is about UK politics. One is mentioning the sexual assault allegation. Are we not allowed to mention that at all without being Trump supporters? So this is, again, a pivot. This is a deflection. The argument isn't whether or not Sean is allowed to criticize Biden. There were tweets in that collection where he very explicitly engages in rhetoric that lead people down a certain direction. You can't say you're not Bernie or bust and then be nonchalant about the fact that your rhetoric leads people to being Bernie or bust. His community is literally packed full of Bernie or busters. Every single one of his tweets is filled with them. It's insane. Then this anonymous Twitter user says, "You're honestly so pathetic, Sean. I used to enjoy your content so much. I feel really sick seeing levels of dishonesty that I thought only existed in fascist communities these days. Oh well, have fun being a top 1%er in the UK. Enjoy the class privilege, mate." I think we can tell who this is. This is a particular affectation I think that we are familiar with. That being said, I agree, because Sean's being dishonest, and that really bothers me. I would rather Sean just say, yeah, I don't care if people vote for Biden. I don't care about moving them in that direction. At least that's a defensible position. It's not a good one. I could beat it, but it's a position that he's honestly adopting. And then as we go forward for a time, they beef for a bit, and rather humorously, the anonymous the anonymous Twitter user that Sean is currently contending with says, "Hey, want to fucking debate me on voice chat?" And then, oh wait, why'd it go back like that? And then Sean replies, "I don't know who you are." Now, this is kind of like a little aside right here. This is, hey, look, it's me. This is a little aside right here. It is funny because we can't know who this is, but let's actually take a moment. In a context where Sean is already being fairly dishonest about the outcomes of his rhetoric, this is also dishonest. Sean knows who he's talking to. Do you really think that Sean would go in a lengthy response thread with somebody? It's just some random like 4,000 follower account. Now, this is kind of an aside because this is funny as fuck, and I actually don't mind that much, but this is also technically dishonest. And then I get in on the drama, and I express my opinion. I'm not happy with Sean's Twitter takes. Him lying and pretending he hasn't transparently encouraged people to not vote for Biden takes the cake. Grow a spine. This bothers me, again, so fucking much. If Sean would just say, I don't care. I do not care whether or not people vote for Biden, I would be fine with that. And then a lot of people get involved. Jack Saint, Big Joel, Comrade Cora, Shoe on Head, Sean, Chris Raygun jumped in there, I think. but this is important to me. If I wanted to encourage people not to vote for Biden in the general, I would just say, I don't think people should vote for Biden in the general, which none of these tweets say. Guys, this is literally the argument that I would hear from Paul Joseph Watson. I want to make it very clear. I'm not criticizing Sean saying that he's as bad as Nazis. I'm not saying that Sean is on the same moral level or that he is morally comparable or that their arguments are the same. But the argumentative tactic being made here is the same. It's pathetic. Yeah, Sean made videos about how people dog whistle. He knows this. And I say, love seeing content creators act dishonest when it comes to the effect their language has on their audience. Again, keep in mind, I'm not criticizing him for being Bernie or bust, which I'm pretty clear he is, or at least that he pushes in that direction. The dishonesty is what bothers me. Who do you believe Americans ought vote for in this coming presidential election? So I'm putting it to like a direct point, like just answer Biden, you know? Okay, so hold on. I've repeatedly told people who ask me specifically whether they should vote for Trump or Biden to vote for Biden if they can do that. Okay. The only thing I have told people specifically not to do is vote for Trump. All right. So according to Sean, so we're leaning in on this now. According to Sean, Sean tells people who ask him to vote for Biden. So it should then the indicated position then is that Sean wants people to vote for Biden. So I say, tweet it out. Just tweet out that you want people to vote for Biden, unqualified, and no worries. And here's me trying to be amicable. I think your messaging in previous tweets might have led some people to think you think otherwise. It's our responsibility as political content creators to make sure our audiences aren't taking the wrong message from our content. This isn't me trying to be passive-aggressive. Twitter is it's so hard to express disagreement on Twitter without coming off like a cunt. I'm really, really, really trying to push for the legitimate position here. Sean knows what he's doing. I agree, Seth. But I'm really trying to hey, if you believe that people should vote for Biden, just tweet once. That's literally all I'm asking. Vote for Biden. Or hey guys, vote for Biden. And he doesn't. Did I not just tweet that out? I have several times. Or if they can do that, or if they can do that too much of a qualification, I'm not going to be passionately arguing the case for Biden if that's what you're expecting. So he's saying, I already have. Didn't you see the tweet where I said, vote for Biden if you feel you must? There's no excuse for this. There's no excuse for this. This is weasel shit. This just is. I have so much respect for Sean's videos. They're so good. I've watched all of them 3 or 4 times. But this is absolutely spineless. Absolutely spineless. Is this an ego thing or a fear of losing subscriber thing? I don't know. I don't want to ascribe intention to Sean. I don't care if Sean's making money. I don't care if Sean is some selfish interest or if it's just a pride thing. I don't care. I don't know. Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. This, it's like that Notch tweet, remember? Notch, say this phrase, Nazis are bad. Don't subtweet. Don't add your snappy little commentary. Just say it and then I'll believe you. Nazis and communists are bad. Ha! I remember that one. That's a classic. But that's how I feel right now. Again, not in the actual content of their arguments, but rather in the way they are projecting it. How do you respond from someone saying you aren't responsible with your platform? The only people who I have ever heard directly say they are not responsible for the outcomes of their platform are Sargon of Akkad and Count Dankula. Those are the only 2 people I've heard outright say they have no responsibility over their platform when being challenged the fact that they have a ton of Nazis in their community. That's what I've heard. That's the quality of people who tend to act this way. Oh, Medicare? Oh, Medicare, also a neo-Nazi, says that. Yeah. Nazis say that shit. And do you know why? Oh, Leafy, too. Known reactionary Leafy. Do you know why? It is because these people are aware they hold a radical position that they don't want to defend because it would make them look bad or because it's indefensible. So instead, they pull a Mott and Bailey and they be really ambiguous about it while defending not that position, but their right to be ambiguous and their right to let their community do as they will. This is fashy shit. This is fashy argumentative tactics. It just is. I got so much shit for these tweets. And I went on a banning spree. Or sorry, blocking spree. Vosh, are you responsible for community? Yes, I am very responsible for my community. That is why I have relentlessly removed people from my community if I think they're toxic to the left. Woke scolds, tankies, Nosbo-leaning people, as far as I'm concerned, you have to meet a certain threshold of moral responsibility to be a part of my community with my endorsement. If you're here in this chat, it means that you and I have similar enough moral values that I respect you and I think that you have the intelligence and the moral character to live your life without hurting those around you. I care about you guys and I care about my community. That matters a lot to me. So when people like Sean, who are fucking 10 times my audience size, are saying, hey, I'm not Bernie or bust, people should vote for Biden. If they want, if they have to, and I'll never tweet anything else clarifying that, and I'll tweet dozens of times about how I would never vote for Biden. That really bugs me. Again, if he admitted to being Bernie or bust, then all of these positions would be consistent, if still a little weaselly. But the fact that he is not, that he has said, oh, well, if people ask me, I say for them to vote for Biden, means that there is a disconnect between his values and the things he is leading his audience towards. I say you should support him if you feel you must is a meaningless weasel statement, which I stand by. And then here's him, and we're near the end now. Rather than being meaningless, it conveys my opinion. I could say everyone should vote for Biden regardless of how you feel about him, but that wouldn't be my opinion. It's more Weasley to lie and tell, or is it more Weasley to lie or tell the truth here? So this is him literally doing the that's just my opinion, man. Like, I'm saying this is a weasel statement. I actually can't fathom how, like, dishonest this is. Like, holy shit. So he's like, hey, I tell people to vote for Biden if they ask me. And I say, okay, clarify that. And he says, okay, I already have clarified that in this tweet. And I say, this tweet doesn't clarify shit. It's a meaningless statement. And he says, well, I can't inject meaning into that statement or it wouldn't be my opinion. He's lying. He's Bernie or bust. He's just not willing to defend that position. This really pisses me off, dude. Again, if he would just admit it, just I am Bernie or bust, but he hasn't done that. He defends relentlessly. No. I don't believe that. I encourage people to vote for Biden if they ask me, but he consistently engages in rhetoric that leads people down a certain road, and then he plays dumb when it comes to the consequences of that behavior. Big Joel was the only person here who even fucking remotely had my back. It goes further for a while, and I guess I could hem and haw over the specifics for quite a long time. When I say, like, hey, there's a disconnect between what you say you believe and what you clearly believe, he's like, well, would you prefer I pretend to be enthusiastic about it? This is only a fraction of all of the shit that I've gotten myself into Twitter drama-wise, okay? I argued with a lot of people, okay? And I'm pretty sure I'm losing some friends over this shit. I am so unhappy. And the argumentative tactics that I have seen have been infuriating. Even ones coming from larger content creators. Jack Saint, who I actually had a prolonged private conversation with, where I tried to where I tried to be amicable and, like, explain why I feel the way I do, kept reframing my position as you should not be able to insult Biden, which it's not. I didn't see what Chris Raygun said. Shionhead was actually amicable. Why would you rather people advocate for something bad than not clearly advocate for anything? Rory Blue, because Sean is already effectively a Bernie or buster. Sean has been nonstop tweeting Bernie or bust shit. I would just rather him be honest about his position so people don't, like, what do you mean? Because honesty is more important than dishonesty. What do you mean? He's already doing it. He's already doing that thing. Cyberwitch Lexi, who multiple times, I'm pretty sure in private or in public, or maybe it was just in 2 different Twitter threads, I keep saying, like, hey, if we have a choice between Trump and Biden, it's better to vote for Biden, right? And Lexi kept saying I'm cucked by the establishment, or cucked by, like, the question or something like that. Like, and implied that by voting for Biden, I wouldn't be willing to do other kinds of action. Like legitimately, it was that stupid, and I know she's in chat. It was actually that I was like, hey, I think the analogy was drinking battery acid. Somebody else said this. Somebody else brought this up. Would you rather drink battery acid or drink watered down battery acid? Which would you prefer? Which would be preferable? You know? And I say, hey, if I have a position to decide whether all of America drinks battery acid or watered down battery acid, I'm going to fight like hell for watered down battery acid. And then someone responds, wow, so you'd advocate Americans drink battery acid? And Cyberwitch Lexi responds, this is what it means to be cucked by the question. I can't... Guys, I'm not bringing Cyberwitch Lexi on. I'm really sorry, but these positions are indefensible, and I'm frustrated enough with the state of the left right now. You can look through all the Twitter threads if you want, but the point that I'm getting at here is, like, I have been assailed with every horrible fucking argument imaginable. I have been assailed from large content creators too, not just random people on Twitter. The reframing of Sean's positions, where there's a very, very, very clear disconnect between what he says he believes in and what he's very clearly advocating for. From people reframing my positions to indicating that I think that you shouldn't be able to criticize Biden, to people saying that I'm a rad lib, to people saying I'm advocating for neoliberal policies, to people saying that I'm trying to shame people into voting one way or the other. For one, that's our job, dipshits. We're political YouTubers. We shame people away from voting for Trump, and we shamed people towards voting for Bernie back when Bernie was a candidate. Now Biden's the candidate. Sorry, I'm not a child. I recognize we have a moral responsibility to do good. That's our fucking job. There were people who pivot away from the actual, like, argument of the dishonesty of the people that I'm impugning to suggesting that it's a waste of my time for me to be talking with these people. Like, oh yeah, you care so much about voting for Biden. Why don't you go phone banking? Do you know how many people asked me to go phone banking for Biden? Like, I would say, like, hey, can you be honest? And they'd be like, go phone bank. Do they think that's, like, a legitimate complaint? Like, for one, I don't need to phone bank. I'm a streamer. I like I'm phone banking right now, except to, like, thousands of people, or I don't know how many people are here, whatever, to a large number of people. Okay. So that's already my job. But, like, I got hit with, like, pivot after pivot after pivot, like, nonstop. It's so fucking frustrating, dude. God, like, I can't, and again, at no point during the whole Twitter shit am I arguing about Bernie or bust. I'm just arguing about being honest about the positions that we have. That's it. Listen, this is really fucking simple, guys, okay? If you say, vote for Biden, then you're with me and you're fine. If you say, I don't care if you guys vote for Biden, just don't vote for Trump, that's a Bernie or bust position, because you wouldn't accept that behavior in any other moral dilemma. You wouldn't ever say, hey, don't be racist, but if you want to be like a good person, you would never do that. This is a very specific dichotomy where people are suddenly deciding to play neutral arbiter. The implication of that being, of course, that there's no real difference between a Trump or a Biden presidency, even if they won't admit they privately believe that. Yeah, don't be racist if you can. This is different? No, it's not. No, it's not. I've heard all the arguments. Anyway, the stupidest response that I got is this one, and this is the one. This is getting cemented. This is getting framed. Okay, this is going in the hall. This is the Hall of Famer right here. Okay. This is from Gushian. Destiny and Vosh going after Sean for supposedly ignoring the impact that words jokes can have on audiences might be the biggest hypocrisy of 2020. So first of all, if I kill myself in the next 48 hours, I want all of you to fucking implicate Gushian in this shit. Because this is the stupidest shit I have ever read in my life. First of all, we can ignore Destiny because I'm not Destiny, I'm me, okay? So, second of all, Vosh going after Sean for supposedly ignoring the impact that words jokes can have on his audience might be the biggest hypocrisy of 2020. First of all, hypocrisy isn't an argument. Guys, what's my line? What do conservatives do when they don't have an argument? What do? You all know what they do, don't you? Dante Thorne knows what they do. They vaguely gesture at hypocrisy rather than making an actual argument. Rather than addressing the point, they attack perceived hypocrisy. You see it all the time from the right. Second of all, this implies that I ignore the impact of my words/jokes on my audience, which is insane. I might be one of the most conscientious people when it comes to directing my audience. Even ContraPoints has said sometimes that she doesn't like the direction that her audience goes. As somebody who only releases one big video once every 1 or 2 months, she can't accurately or like cautiously guide people towards certain conclusions. I talk about the effect of rhetoric nonstop. Rhetoric is my job. I care very much about the direction I pull my audience in. Every argument that I make, even like this argument is literally, haha, sometimes Vosh says the R slur, so it's okay that Sean lies and pushes a position that will keep people from voting for Biden, potentially letting fascism reign further in the United States. Like, fuck me, dude. Wait, 1 second. Rory Blue, I've been seeing you complaining for a bit, so I'm just going to respond to this. Honestly, Vosh, this is frustrating because you assume he doesn't believe what he says he believes. Why don't you assume he knows what he's doing and thinks he's right, then convince him that he's wrong? I'm going to be super clear here, okay? Because I've dealt with dishonesty before, and what we've looked at over the past half hour has indicated a massive amount of dishonesty from Sean, which means that he's either engaging in it deliberately, which is behavior that I've seen from many content creators who don't want to defend a hard-to-defend position but want to experience the outcomes of it anyway, or that he is unparalleled in his stupidity. And Sean is not stupid. Sean is intelligent. This is a deliberate effort on his part. And being able to recognize bad faith actors is, again, part of what I do. I'm really sorry if this seems like I'm coming after a lot of people that we like. I liked Gushian. I like Sean's videos. There are a lot of things that I care about, and there are a lot of people in the left community that I care about. But this Bernie or bust shit makes me want to kill myself. Like, is that TOS? It doesn't actually make me want to kill myself. It just makes me really angry. I can't believe it. Like I don't even know what to say. Like, God, like, how much better are we really? Our arguments are better, but how much better are we? It's like, what does it mean? What's the term? Morally lucky? You know? Like, wow, you did it. You landed into being not racist and not sexist, but you're every bit as dishonest, you're every bit as deceitful, you're every bit as unwilling to own up to your positions. You know where better, holy hell, you're being blinded by frustration? Yes, in the positions that you hold. But the argumentative tactics, I think, at least right now, God, man, I can barely use Twitter these days. It's so stupid. Lefties online are so stupid. It frustrates me so much. I consider this, I mean, this is part of my, this is what I care about, I think, like, more than anything else. I care about winning. I care about being progressive. I care about socialism. I care about not burping directly into the microphone. Christ. I care about making the world a better place. That's what I care about more than anything else. That's literally it. Everything that I do. Now, is it true that I profit from what I do on my stream? Of course, obviously, yeah, this is also my job. But when, like, on a moral level, like, this is unfathomably important to me. And it really, really frustrates me when people are engaging in levels of dishonesty that make it difficult to directly address their positions. Sean, if I could get him down to conversation, and I know he would never come in a live stream for reasons that I frankly believe are at least related to cowardice, I know I could get Sean to admit that a Biden presidency is better than a Trump presidency. And since people like Sean and myself engage in moral imperative arguments all the time, that's our job. I know I could get him to admit that it is important to get people to vote for Biden. This isn't some errant fucking frivolity. This is the presidential election of the United States of America. This is the most important and consequential political event that is going to happen, at least in the upcoming year, unless some war begins. Possibly. This isn't some minor shit. This is important, okay? We can't fuck around with this. And it really fucking pisses me off when people act like this is just, I'm like, oh, like, why are you wasting your time with this? I'm British. I say people can vote for Biden if they want to. I mean, I'd never vote for Biden, but you can if you want to. Whatever. I don't know why you're wasting your time with a little old Brit like me. Oh, just what a tiresome, exchange this has been. Do the accent? I'm not going to try and do the accent. I'll do the accent with Sargon of Akkad. But not with Sean. I have more respect for Sean, but whew, did it take a hit. Anyway, that's it. That's the argument, okay? This is, I almost forgot. Motherfucker. If you're on the video and you're posting critical comments, here's your new job. I lied earlier. You're not doing the winky face. You're doing XD. That's what you're doing. D. That's what you're doing, okay? So if I see any winky face motherfuckers in there, I know that you didn't watch to the end of the argument, okay? That's the actual, I'm not joking. When I go back over this video, fucking 48 hours after it releases or whenever, I don't know. When I go back over it, I'm going to take a look at all the critical comments. I'm going to tally up the people who are smart enough to actually put that shit in. And if I see fucking 98% of the people criticizing me had either no face or a winky face, I'm going to know you motherfuckers don't have a single leg to stand on when it comes to criticizing me, okay? You're just a bunch of delusional fucking LARPers who get mad at the title and get mad that your fucking skull daddy got revealed as an embarrassing coward online, okay? All right, there we go. So this was later in the stream. Chat asked me to put this in. I had gotten mad at some people in chat, so I said this, and they all asked me to put it in. We did a poll. Oh, and I later ended up making up with Lexi. It's all cool. I think, probably. I don't know. I'm not good at that. But anyway, yeah. Okay, here. Irrationally ascribing good faith to people who are blatantly lying is lib shit. It's what libs do to let fascists get away with their nonsense talking points. That's lib shit, okay? You, as a proper leftist, need to be willing to identify dishonesty in people, okay? You need to be willing to ascribe bad faith. Liberals are the delusional idiots who think that everyone is trying to play within the system. Nobody wants any real change. Nobody wants revolution. Nobody wants any substantial alteration to the system as it exists. Time is dead. History is finished. That's lib shit. What we recognize is that there are people out there who, for personal reasons, for power, for money, for whatever, are interested in altering the power relations between themselves and the environment that they live in. And some of those people are on our side. And sometimes their dishonesty benefits us, and sometimes their dishonesty isn't to our benefit. But we need to be willing to call that shit out when it happens if we want to have any fucking chance of actually managing to stand up against our real enemies. Not our pansy-ass fucking inept, incompetent, intellectually bankrupt dipshit Twitter lefties who are more concerned with posturing their stupid, LARPy fucking third way, don't vote, stay at home and jerk off instead of actually trying to prevent the development of fascism shit, but real fucking fascists and Nazis who are crossing their legs with joy and crossing their fucking fingers praying that us and other idiots like us aren't smart enough to come out the election and prevent fucking Trump, fucking Term 2 Trump from coming out there. Term 2 Trump who doesn't have to care about getting reelected. Term 2 Trump who knows that he's immune to being fucking impeached because he already threw off one of the impeachment efforts. Term 2 Trump who will preside over the worst period of climate and immigration catastrophe in the history of this country. Term 2 Trump who may very well actually follow through on his promises of destroying our electoral process. Oh, those Nazis and fascists are fucking praying that you dipshits out there on Twitter, you LARPy motherfuckers, are actually stupid enough to withhold from the election because poor Whittle Biden isn't good enough for you. Unlike the unironically fucking intelligent alt-righter who recognizes that Trump may be cucked by Israel, but at least he's better than fucking Biden. At least they act in their own interest. At least they're intelligent enough what the fuck they should be doing. But I can't say that about everyone. I thought some of the fucking lefties I considered compatriots were allies. I thought they were intelligent enough to realize what the actual pragmatic outcomes of their behavior would be. But nope. Sorry. It's all LARPing today, boys. Nothing. LARPing until the end of the fucking history, okay? All we get to do is sit around in our fucking echo chambers and posture as hard as we can. That's it. That's the end of leftism right there. Oh, but people who blatantly, clearly lie and contradict themselves when it comes to the outcomes of their rhetoric. Public figures who have done literal LARPing and probably hundreds of hours more research than I have on the outcomes that public figures have in their and the consequences of their rhetoric on their audience. Oh, when those people blatantly contradict each other in such a way as to lead to an audience full of people who think that they're going to change the fucking world by not voting for Biden. Oh, in that case, oh no, it was just an accident, bro. He's not in control of his behavior. He's only, what, 33? Oh, just a child. What could he possibly know? Oh, he's British. He can't possibly have any fucking outcome in the American election. All right, I'm chill now. All right, there we go.